Welcome to the Hunt Fish Travel Podcast, the first and longest running female hosted hunting podcast. She thinks at the end of the day your feet should be dirty, that your hair should be messy, and your eyes should be sparkling from the joy of camping. But first, she's ready to help you navigate your trip of a lifetime. And now, here's your hostess, Carrie Zilka.
Welcome to the Hunt Fish Travel Podcast. I'm your hostess, Carrie Zilka. This week we're talking to Michelle Harms about hunting bears in Maine, because that's fun. The show notes for this episode can be found at the website huntfishtravel.net under the show tab. You can also find Hunt Fish Travel on the Outdoor Podcast channel, a brand new episode from a different outdoor podcast every single day, all on one single RSS feed. This episode is brought to you by Real Avid. If you use a shotgun to hunt or to shoot clays or whatever, check out their Shotgun Micro Tool. It's a compact, function-packed tool that fits in the palm of your hand. Being able to fix on the fly means a lot to shotgunners, which is why any shooter worth their steel or lead will keep this 17-function tool handy for quick teardowns, choke tube changes, and many other tasks. Be sure to check it out at realavid.com. Find them on Facebook as well as YouTube. And if you follow me on Twitter at Carrie Zilka, keep an eye out for the tweets I tag them in. Be sure to give them a follow at realavid. Michelle Harms from Michelle Harms Outdoors. Welcome to the show. So glad to have you on.
Thank you, Carrie. It's great to be on again.
So we've been friends for I don't even know how long. ATA and just on social media and stuff. And so why don't you tell my listeners more about you and more about Michelle Harms Outdoors? Like where you're from originally, where do you live now, what's your favorite hunting species? I know the answer.
Well, I'm originally from Alaska, but right now I live in South Carolina. I started Michelle Harms Outdoors because I wanted somewhere to write my thoughts down, have a blog, something, there's somewhere to go. People want to read my brain.
I get it.
My favorite species to hunt is bears.
Yeah.
It used to be hogs, but now it's bears.
So why bears? So let's jump into segue a little bit into, because we're talking about hunting bears in Maine. And when I first saw you posting about hunting bears in Maine, I assumed you were from Maine. And then I found out you were not from Maine. And I was like, all right, she really is dedicated to hunting bears. So tell me how you even ended up hunting bears in Maine for the first time.
Well, the outfitter, Pleasant River Guide Services, he contacted a ladies group that I was with, and I lucked out because at the time I was living in New York, so I was the closest one, so I got picked to go, and it just all started from there.
Cool. And that was how long ago?
That was 2012? Yeah, 2012.
Okay, I was going to say 5 years. I wasn't sure if that was right. Pretty close.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing I think we've been friends on Facebook for that long at least. And, I always look forward. You always have the coolest posts about the ladies bear hunt. So.
Okay.
So what brought you to South Carolina? So what's your, there's a lot of stuff to hunt in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Well, my husband's in the military, so where he goes, I go.
Awesome.
So, yeah, we hunt deer and ducks and stuff down here. Bear's a little bit harder. You have to go up north, but it's nice there except for when it's 100 degrees.
I know, this heat is ridiculous. I'm sure everybody's tired of me bitching about it because all I do is post on Facebook and Twitter about how annoyed I am with the heat. So, okay, I have to ask you, tell us one little tidbit that people don't know about you. What's something that you do that the general public wouldn't even know about you, that you do?
Well, I am a huge aquarium geek. I love fish.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I even took the time and the money to go to the behind the scenes tour at the Georgia Aquarium. Oh. And that was the coolest day ever.
That's hilarious.
And I'm going to go back someday to swim with the whale sharks.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So let's talk a little more about Maine. Tell us why people should consider it for their next trip to go bear hunting.
Well, you don't need a passport. You can use any weapon.
That's a bonus.
And you can bring your own ammunition. Yeah. A lot of stuff you can't do in Canada, you can do in Maine. You don't have to deal with customs. And you don't have to fly internationally, which can get expensive, and you don't have to exchange money. So, a lot of good reasons to stay in the States and hunt some bear.
For sure. So you go for black bear? Are there different species in Maine?
It's only black bear, and yeah, there's no no real color phases up there, and it's very rare for them to have any white markings, but there are some.
Really? I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Just the genetics in the area?
Yeah. It's just they're eastern black bear, and that's the most common subspecies, but just that genetics, there's not a whole lot of markings.
Sure. What sort of conservation efforts do you think have been made in Maine to sustain the population? Because you always hear about, black bear hunting in Maine. So I can imagine it's super popular. So there must be a lot of conservation that goes on. Right.
They actually have one of the most extensive bear study programs in North America.
Really?
They track and trap bears every year just to take their measurements and stuff. They don't use leg traps. They use friendly traps. And then they gauge the population and their health. And they're really dedicated to the bears. It's pretty amazing. And when you do harvest a bear, you have to go through some pretty strict check-in rules, and you have to submit a tooth so they can study what age hunters are getting and from what areas.
Really? So then do you get the tooth back?
No, but you get to know the age of your bear in a year. So I'll get to know my last year's bear this year.
Well, that's cool. So they'll actually follow up with you and let you know.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And it's actually, as many hunters as there are, we are actually below what the biologists recommend for harvest numbers. So we need more hunters to help out get some bears.
Really? Well, yeah. I'd be happy to come out. What are those numbers? Like, do you know?
They say, I think the 2014 study said something about they wanted around 4,500 to 5,000 something to maintain a healthy population that wouldn't conflict with humans. And I believe the harvest number was under 3,000. So it's not just point and click hunting. It's hard because the forest is so dense.
Do you bait them up there, or do you spot and stalk?
We bait them, because if you were to spot and stalk, you'd probably never see one. There's actually a 2% success rate for spot and stalk, and that's usually people that are deer hunting and they see a bear by accident.
Right. What area in Maine are you hunting with your ladies group?
It's about an hour north of Bangor. Okay. Kind of smack in the middle.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the ladies group. How did you get involved with that?
I actually went on a ladies only hunt, and I met some really great people, and that's kind of how it all started. I mean, I recommend that any woman go on a women's only hunt, and especially the Maine one, because it's a heck of a deal. Yeah. For what you're getting. But just the companionship and the friends you make, I mean, they last a lifetime.
Yeah. What is the cost for the 2016 hunt this year?
It's a special deal for ladies. No, we got a couple spots left. So if you want to come, get some vacation time. The cost for women is $1,100, and that includes everything from picking you up at the airport to food and lodging. And it's a 6-day hunt. So, I mean, you can't even get a hotel and feed yourself for that much.
No kidding.
So it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, 3 days at Podcast Movement cost more than that. 2 hours away.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's a deal. Is it hunting from ground blinds or tree stands?
It's up to you.
Oh, really? Okay.
And you can hunt with any weapon you want. You can do pistol, rifle, arrow, spear, whatever you want.
Right. Rocks, just...
Yeah.
And what is the name of the outfitter that you go with again?
It's Pleasant River Guide Service. It's just pleasantriverguides.com.
Okay. So if people want to go and check it out and see pictures, and they can of course go to Michelle Harms Outdoors on Facebook and see a bunch of pictures as well. Mm-hmm. So walk me through a typical day of bear hunting in Maine with this outfitter. Is it super early like deer hunting?
You wake up whenever you want. That's one of the things I love about bear hunting. You don't hunt until the evening. So you have your morning free to fish, go on a walk, play Ben. And it's great because you don't get home till probably about 9, you eat dinner. So it's great to be able to sleep in a little bit because it's a long sit. It's about, we leave the lodge around noon or 1 and we sit till about 7. So it's a long time to be out there.
Yeah. What do the non-resident tags cost?
There's two different options. If you want to hunt with any weapon, including a bow, it's $115. For archery only, it's $75, and then the bear permit is additional $74.
Wait. $115?
Mm-hmm.
115.
115. It's very non-resident friendly.
I'm like, wait, I must be hearing her incorrectly. This can't be correct. That's a deal. Seriously, that's a deal.
Yeah, normally people are like, it's going to be like a couple of hundred. But no, it's pretty good. So even with those tag numbers, you're just paying pretty much what the men have to pay.
And what are the dates of your bear hunt this year?
They are, well, week 1 is full of returning hunters. And then it's the next 2 weeks in September. So I believe the dates with openings is September 4th through 10th and September 11th through 17th.
And where do you fly? Where do you fly into? Not Bangor. I would imagine that would be pretty expensive, wouldn't it?
No, it's the cheapest and it's the closest. It's actually a pretty small airport. And it's about an hour from camp. So it's not too bad.
Okay, cool.
And you arrive on Sundays and you leave on Sundays. So you get a pretty full week of Maine experience.
Yeah. And I'm sure that if you get a bear right away, there's tons of stuff to do around that area. Like, go have your picture taken in front of Stephen King's house. Little things like that.
All right. There's lots to do. There's tons of lakes and stuff, and you can go fishing. There's a river right by the cabin, and there's so much to explore. I think last year, my friend and I got our bears pretty early, and we went up to a big old lake and just went exploring. We found this little vineyard that we absolutely love. It was pretty awesome.
So what's the biggest bear that's been taken in the ladies' hunt? What is the average size bear that you guys take?
The average size bear the average size bear in all of Maine is about 150 pounds. So a lot of the bigger, smarter bears are coming out late at night. We have some huge bears on camera, but they're pretty smart. They're at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
The biggest bear, I believe, is 250 pounds.
Wow. That's a good sized bear.
Yeah.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, yeah.
What else? What question? I feel like I'm forgetting questions. Like I feel like I'm missing some because I've never been bear hunting, so I feel like I'm missing questions I should be asking. We should have done this live so people would be like, "Hey, dumbass, don't forget to ask this." What do you think would be the biggest tip you would give a lady going on, or even a guy going bear hunting? What do you think would be the biggest piece of advice?
You have to be absolutely scent free.
Oh, okay.
You don't even want to bring a backpack with you. Just bring the essentials, leave the rest with the guide, because they have an excellent sense of smell. A lot of people think that they have bad eyesight, but it's just that they don't care. If they see you in a tree, they think you're another bear just hanging in a tree. But
Really?
if they smell people, they're not going to come out. Yeah.
So you guys do all your hunting in the fall. Do you ever go do the spring hunts?
Unfortunately, in Maine, you can only spring hunt on native land. So that's kind of out.
Gotcha.
And it's so muddy, then you don't even want to bother.
Fine, I want a big, fat fall bear anyway.
Yeah, no, this scrawny one just woke up.
Right? Exactly. I'm going to need you to fatten up, little boy.
And fall is good because they are starting to grow their thicker hair.
Yeah.
And they're just eating so much food because that's when the berries ripen. So they're just gorging to get ready for hibernation.
Very, 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 very cool. I didn't realize that you had to be I knew you had to be scent free because most animals have better noses than us, but like with deer, you can get away with a little bit sometimes, but I didn't realize they were that crazy about it.
Well, what people don't realize about bears is that they're most likely sitting and watching you before you'll ever see them.
Really?
Because they'll sit and walk a couple steps and just wait and look and smell. And the first year I went there, I had a huge bear. He was probably 250, 300 pounds. Just come out and he sat at the edge of the forest and stared at me for 10 minutes straight. I was going to lose my mind. I just wanted to scream to make him go away. Just do something. And then I just grazed him. So that was pretty upsetting because I was just shaking so hard, but not exaggerating, 10 minutes straight. So that was awful.
Bear.
Well, he's making sure it wasn't something dangerous.
Yeah.
And since he lived, apparently it wasn't.
Yeah, right.
But the cool thing is I have a picture of him on a trail camera just seconds before I missed him.
Yeah.
So I have that forever in my memories.
Fantastic. Yeah, like I said, anybody can go to Michelle Harms Outdoors on Facebook and see a ton of really awesome pictures. You do a really good job. You do a really good job with your blog, and you do a really good job with your Facebook page, too. It's very active and updated quite often, so kudos to you. So what's on the horizon for Michelle Harms Outdoors, other than the ladies bear hunt? Do you have any cool hunts coming up?
That's pretty much my one that takes up all my vacation time, because I go and I host it because this year there'll be 3 weeks of ladies hunts. It's grown that fast.
That's
it used
amazing.
to be 1 week, now it's 3. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a lot of returning girls too.
Yeah. So then are you there all 3 weeks?
Yes.
Wow. You do use up all your vacation for those.
Yeah, I'm there to either, if someone's nervous, I'll sit with them because I know I was extremely nervous my first hunt.
Yeah.
So I have no problem just hanging out or helping any way I can.
That's cool of you.
And actually, this year, we are getting a new property. We're going to add about 2,400 acres and have some new cabins. And it's going to be pretty amazing. So it's going to be some great times to be on the ladies hunt because, I'll show you pictures of the property. It's amazing.
So how many acres do you guys have to hunt total?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how much you need to be able to sustain baits, even for a small amount of hunters, just because bears are territorial and they're going to move around a lot. So you need a lot of baits.
And I'm assuming you guys are hunting on public land, right? I mean,
nope.
Oh, it's all
it's
private?
Leased.
Oh, wow.
Yes. About, I think 90% of Maine is privately landed.
Is it?
Privately owned land.
I would have totally thought the opposite.
No, a lot of it's owned by forestry people.
Okay.
Logging and such. So it's not easy for people just to go to public land.
Yeah. Because
everybody owns the property.
Gotcha. It's good for them. Kind of sucks for the average guy.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
I honestly, God, I would have thought it was completely the opposite. It's so wooded and so forested and that's so cool. Well,
a lot of it's swamp too, so you can't just be wandering around. You'll disappear. Yeah.
Oh. I guess I'm not really familiar with the topography of Maine. You always see wharfs and like the coastal part of it, but then inland, you just always assume it's all just like hardwoods.
No, it can get pretty squishy, and the moose gotta be able to eat their aquatic plants, so there's a lot of water.
So where can people find out more about you?
Well, my website is mhoutdoors.com, and then you can find me. You can find me. Oh yeah, it is mhoutdoors.com. Okay, and you can find me on Facebook and Twitter.
Just search for Michelle Harms Outdoors.
Correct.
And I'll link to all these in the show notes too, so that they can find you pretty easily. Then go and sign up for your blog and check out all these awesome bear hunt.
Oh yeah, and this year is actually pretty cool. We're having a wounded veteran come up, and she actually just beat breast cancer.
Oh.
She's officially cancer-free in February, and we did a little fundraiser, and it only took like 2 weeks for people to raise enough money to get her plane ticket here because we donated the hunt. So it's pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
Just a shout out to the people that donated and for donating the hunt.
Good job, guys. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I definitely appreciate it. I can't wait to see photos of this year's hunt.
Yeah, you need to come out.
What is the average, say, I don't know how many women go, like 5 or 6? Is it usually everybody who gets one?
No, just because it is
so hard.
Pretty difficult to sit there completely still for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. But the state percentage of bears over bait is only 30%. And we are getting, I think, 40 to 50. So we're doing pretty good. And last year we got some new bait, and it changed the game totally. So it's going to go up this year for sure. That's bears, because Pete is amazing. He has 100% shot opportunity on moose every year because he scouts like a crazy man. But with bear, they're just so unpredictable. kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah. Bears, I take it, are not easily patterned.
No, their territory is pretty vast, and they like to come out at night when it's a little bit cooler.
All right. Well, thank you very, 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 very much for coming on. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about bear hunting in Maine. Good luck to you and your ladies. Like I said, I wish you guys the greatest success, and I can't wait to see successful photos.
Well, thanks so much.
And that'll do it. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to find the show on iTunes. Just search for Hunt Fish Travel Podcast. Hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me on social media. Just go to huntfishtravel.net and click on the social media icon of your choice. The only one that's not listed there is Periscope. You can always find me on Periscope, same Twitter handle @CarrieZilka. Until next time.